welcome to Capricorn season. Thanks for tuning in to the Embodied Astrology podcast. I'm Renee Sills. I'm a consulting astrologer, embodiment educator, and the creator of Embodied Astrology. If you enjoy my readings, make sure to order your 2025 Year Ahead Expanded Horoscope now. These 2-hour Embodied Astrology yearly forecasts for each sign go in depth with the most important transits, offering embodied suggestions for making the most of the opportunities and working skillfully with the challenges. You can order your 2025 reading by clicking the link below. If my work benefits you and you want to help me keep giving these monthly readings for free or help keep all of our offerings at EA financially accessible and sliding scale, please take a moment right now to like, follow, and subscribe to our channels. This is the #1 way you can help us grow. This season's horoscopes are intuitive offerings for each sign of the zodiac. I hope that they serve and support you in some way. Listen for your sun, moon, and rising signs. And remember that not everything is for everyone, so take what works, leave the rest, and make the meaning that's most meaningful for you. Thanks for being here. Onto your horoscope. Hello, Taurus. Welcome to Capricorn season. Capricorn is an earth sign, an earth season, and therefore it is a season that wants to help you in your earthiness stabilize, get grounded, and see your way towards whatever is coming next. I spoke to you in Sagittarius season about being in an underworld journey of some kind. And as we move from Sagittarius season into Capricorn season, I think that a lot of you are emerging in some way from that underworld. There is a sense that you have gained perspective as we move into Capricorn season. And that is perspective that is gained through necessary suffering. The grief practices, the capacity that we have to allow ourselves to feel angry and confused and messy and things like that actually clears the space to see where we're actually wanting to go. When we try and ignore and hide from those kinds of feelings, even though they're very uncomfortable and it's hard to turn towards them, ignorance of them, avoidance of them, leads us down routes that are actually worse, way worse, and leads us to make decisions that are coming from a place of fear, coming from a place of avoidance, etc. And that is not what you want. That does not bode well. And so if you gave yourself the space in Sagittarius season to be with the trouble, as we get into Capricorn season, there's some kind of feeling of the clouds parting a little bit. And it's not like the whole world is changing right now and like, oh, it's all going to be great. It's not that feeling. The feeling, though, is that you have some kind of renewed vitality and a perspective right now. And your perspective is a holistic feeling perspective. It's that you gained something from having a descent, and what was so terrifying to you or making you feel so upset or the unknown that you were looking at, you're just not as afraid of it now. And there's a kind of like embodied awareness of transformational process that can serve you in your movement forward at this time. And so the first half or a little more than half of Capricorn season, from the solstice on December 21st until the first quarter lunation on January 6th, this is a period of time that actually has a lot of energy and growing energy collectively and also in your chart. Now, in this growing energy, again, there's not a clear strategy. There's not a clear path. We are living in highly confusing and chaotic times, and that's just what's on the menu for the foreseeable future. So Taurus, I know a lot of you just want stability. You want to know what we're having for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But sometimes you just gotta scavenge and see what's there. And sometimes you have to be open to what life is serving. And you might be surprised. And you particularly might be surprised when you make yourself available for new relationships and new connections. And this is one of the big themes that I feel for you right now, is that a lot of you have been kind of like sorting through your needs and desires and experiences, particularly in your friendships and the places that you are looking for community and belonging. I think that you have some kind of clarity and discernment that's starting to happen right now about the ways that you want to engage and what you need when it comes to community spaces, and when it comes to the feeling of belonging, and when it comes to committing yourself to long-lasting allegiances, allyships, and relationships of all kinds. And you have a lot of energy to kind of like create your own reality right now in the ways that you invest in relationships and what you are calling forward in yourself in relationship with others. And so communication is huge right now. This is not a time for avoidance. If there are things that you're noticing and you're like, wow, that doesn't work for me, I just want to put it out as a possibility that other people might not know that. And people are different, right? And we all have very different charts. People have different Mercury placements, different moon placements, different elemental balances. So what might seem totally obvious and necessary and basic to you might not seem any of those ways to somebody else. And how they are might seem totally obvious and basic to them, and it might strike you as, what the fuck? And so when you feel that kind of way, or if somebody is letting you know that they feel that kind of way with you, if there are miscommunications and misperceptions that are happening, now is the time to address them, and to address them with as much generosity and curiosity as you possibly can. And that means that you really keep it in mind that people are different. And even if you may have perceived an injury or a slight, or you think that of course they would notice that like you were feeling this way, keep it in mind that actually probably not. They might not know. They might not see it that way. And it doesn't make them a cruel person. It doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make them a stupid person. And it doesn't make you any of those things either. It's just people. And we are different, and we have really different conditioning, and we have really different charts. We come from different kinds of cultures, we come from different kinds of languages, and we have really different kinds of charts. And the more that you can get curious about the differences that are happening without feeling immediately offended or attacked, or like you have to go on attack, the more you can build coherence in your relationships, and then you start to feel a sense of long-term potentiality and stability. And this is what I personally want for you. I want you to feel that you can use your voice and speak up. I want you to feel heard and listened to and received. And I know that for me, I generally feel more heard and listened to and received when I am able to use my voice and speak up in the moment, or not too long after something is happening. I'm a type, my chart gives me a lot of instincts to like hold it in for a long time and like really try and work it out on my own before I bring it to someone else. And I am learning that that is not the best approach a lot of the time, that even though it's scary to just like say it in the moment, that oftentimes that's actually what is needed in order for somebody else to know what I'm talking about. So when you can trust your own experience and love yourself, but also not get guarded and defended and offended, right? And go on attack, but really hold curiosity and space, try not to take things personally, and communicate about it, that then leads to relationships that are going somewhere, that you can build on, that you can trust, where there's stability. And the nature of stability on Earth is that it changes. And that's something to really keep in mind and try and practice being with, not just in Capricorn season, but throughout 2025 into 2026, probably for the rest of your life. The more adaptable and flexible you can be with circumstances as they change, the more you will be able to find safety, steadiness, and security, and a true sense of belonging. You will be able to really know yourself inside of those situations as they change. So some of you are experiencing pretty significant changes either in your personal life, or other people around you are having changes in their personal lives. And so then the relationship that you have with them needs to change. And I think that this is working on you psychically right now. And there's a feeling in the first half and more than half of Capricorn season of a kind of like psychic courage that is coming up, a willingness to really be with the change. And again, this kind of newfound comfort in navigating the unknown. This is a very powerful time, especially around the Capricorn new moon on December 30th, to be with the energies and the attitudes of receptivity. The symbol for this new moon is feeding a bird with your open palm. And that gesture, right, is an offering to a being that speaks different languages than you, that moves through phenomenal experience in very different ways than you, that has a totally different perspective. But in the offering, there can be connection. And when you offer to what is unknown, when you offer to your future, when you offer to your past in ways that allow you to be receptive with what is, this then opens you energetically, psychically, and spiritually to what is wanting to come in. And last thing I'll say about that is, in this sense of offering, there is really an invitation to tune in with what you have to give and what you want to give. And this is a larger question for your life right now, for the present quality of time, definitely extending into the first half of 2025. Meditate on the question of, what do you have to give and what do you want to give? There might be a lot of concern for some of you currently about how do you get what you need. And those are valid concerns. I want you to have what you need. But I'm going to tell you that I think that you get more of what you need when you focus on giving what you have to give and really understanding the value of what it is that you are giving, and opening yourself to this feeling of generosity and also curiosity. So you have a lot to give. Others might not be able to give you what you are giving. It might not be like a parity situation in the exchange, but they have what they have to give. And so if you give what you have freely, I think that there is a lot of desire that others have to give to you in the ways that they can. And again, lives are changing. Psychologies are changing, conditions and circumstances are changing, and relationships are changing. So what you have to give might not be what you had last week or last year or 15 years ago, and what they have to give is probably changing also. And some of those conversations are really ready and ripe to happen right now. And so then as we move into the last half of Capricorn season, from January 6th onward and into Aquarius season, there is an increased focus on communication, on like cultivating safe spaces for vulnerability, tenderness, transparency, and honesty. It is really important for you right now that you are communicating from places of integrity and your own like ethical kind of centeredness. If you feel reactive because people aren't seeing what you have to give, or they're not giving you what you want them to give, or people are changing and the agreements are off or disrupted or something like that, don't let loose the torrent of your anger on them. Taurus energy, and everybody has Taurus in their chart, Taurus energy gets the angriest and the most obstinate when it is in a scarcity mindset, when it thinks that something is being taken away that it wants or that it needs. If that's the experience that you're having, my heart is with you. Please take care of yourself. Give yourself time and space to stomp around on your own time and space, to cry, to talk to your therapist, to let it out with your friends or in your journal or something like that. But when it comes to the actual relationship, treat the relationship with dignity. If it is changing, it's because it needs to change, and ultimately that change will probably be the best for you too, even if you can't see it yet. If you feel reactive, try not to react in childish ways inside that relationship. Try and process your feelings and then come back to the situation with emotional and intellectual maturity, because you have given yourself time and space to attend to your inner child. So I'm not telling you to push it away and to pretend like you don't have feelings. I know that you have feelings. Your feelings are valid, but feelings are not facts for everybody, and feelings will also change. And you want to give yourself time and space to be with what's emerging, so that you can then bring it to the places it needs to be brought in the ways that will allow it to best move forward. Now, this I want to emphasize and underscore and put in bold throughout the second half of Capricorn season, but especially around the Cancer full moon on January 13th. This is a full moon, first of all, in Cancer. So we know that there are feelings. This is a full moon that is really activating Mars retrograde in Cancer. So we know that there are feelings. And this is a full moon that is arriving in your third house of communication and your mind and your perceptions. So we know that you have feelings and that there are feelings. And again, your feelings are valid. I think a lot of you are tuning in with sensitivity or empathy or reality in ways that are really important. These are feelings that do not need to be swept under the rug. They don't need to be avoided. They don't need to be placated, but they also don't need to be like enforced as the be all end all for everybody else. These are feelings that need your attention. Something needs to be protected is the feeling that I have. There is a sensation of really wanting to care for what is most vulnerable. And however you might feel that, whether it's you feeling vulnerable, you needing protection, or like whatever age your multiple inner children are. I have like 40,000, inner children in me that are always feeling some degree of vulnerable. So like, I don't know if you resonate with that, but it could also be another person. It could be a situation in the world. There are a lot of people who are facing really enormous and devastating threats. And some of you might feel like your warrior and your protector spirit is definitely coming forward right now. That instinct to protect and to take care of what needs to be taken care of is so precious. The world needs more of that. But we also need that sentiment and that energy in ways that have been examined, refined, like weathered, right? Conditioned, and that we have built understanding and competency around and with. And I think that a lot of people are feeling really activated right now. I feel like Taurus placements could feel really activated right now because there is so much that needs protecting. And when other people don't see that, when they trample all over it, when they abuse it or disregard it, you feel pissed. And that makes sense. And we need you to be working skillfully with righteous anger. And that means not making it worse. And so the feelings that you're having need you to be working with them. And this kind of period of time, the last half of Capricorn season, is an amazing time for you to actually put that energy into action in really important ways, in ways that benefit you and others. But the benefits come from your capacity to examine how charge moves through you, because you're probably picking up on charge that was moving through others or moving through the world very unconsciously. And if you continue to react, that unconscious charge just gets bigger. This is why wars continue, because people are unconscious about their anger and its impact. They feel justified in expressing their rage in unconscious ways. We don't need more of that in the world. We need anger that is really clear sword of truth, clear point of focus, clear in who you are and what you stand for and what you are here to fight for. And I just want to put it out there that as the earthiest of all the earth signs, with Venus moving through the top of your chart these days and Pluto, the transformer, about to already actually taking up residence at the top of your chart for the next 20 years, I just want to put it out there that you can be a warrior of love, that I think you are, a warrior for life, and I think that you are, and that love and life really want you to be enlivened and full of love in the ways that you fight. The series is over now, but if you didn't catch Embodied Astrology's 3-part series with Ramon Parrish called Constellations of Conflict, you might want to check that out. It is a really interesting take on conflict transformation. It has you working with your own chart to understand some of the ways that you might be absorbing, processing, and engaging with conflict, and how you can up-level your skills. This is certainly a time on Earth when many of us need to up-level our conflict skills so that we can fight better for what is really worth protecting, defending, and living for. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. Taurus, I hope any or all of that feels helpful and supportive to you. I'm wishing you all the best in Capricorn season and beyond. Lots of love. Bye for now. Thanks so much for listening to your Capricorn season reading. If this horoscope resonated for you, please show your support by liking, following, and subscribing, and by sharing this work with your friends and community. And if you want more, don't forget to order your 2025 year ahead reading, where I go in depth with the big picture and main themes of this year for your sun, moon, and rising signs. This season, I hope you'll join me for Somatic Space, which is a class I offer every Monday where we prepare ourselves to work with the astrology of the week ahead through gentle healing body practices, breathwork, meditation, and visualization. You can drop in once to try it out, or if you become a member, you'll also get access to the past classes video archive, as well as Tea Time, which is a monthly meetup and conversation space where we learn and share how astrology is moving through our lives. You can find more information about working with me and other Embodied Astrology events in the show notes or through the study section at embodiedastrology.com. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for listening and engaging. I truly hope to see you in an Embodied Astrology space soon. Bye for now.